I'm with Matt Larsen, and you're on the product team for IE8. Is that right?
Yeah, IE product management team for all versions.
Yeah.
IE8 is obviously what we're excited about talking about today.
And we're going to talk a little bit about IE8, and it's been kind of quiet about IE8 around Microsoft. We haven't had a dog food version, but I hear that there's going to be some announcements here at Mix. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and we have been quiet, and we've been listening to everybody, and the blog's been very active. But we took a little different approach. We wanted to talk about things when we had something really exciting to show and key milestones, and a lot of the developers paid attention to things like our ACID 2 announcement a little while back. But you're right, Mix is a big day for us, a big event, and we're releasing the beta today, beta 1 for developers of IE8, first public beta.
So, and this isn't exactly what we'll see when IE8 goes public. This is developers preview?
Yeah, this is primarily focused at web developers and designers, and it is the first beta, so as you can imagine, there's a lot that we're still going to have being done on this, and a lot of the end user or consumer features really aren't surfaced in this build necessarily, because it really is targeted toward the developers and designers.
So if someone takes this and they go, oh, it looks a lot like IE7, this isn't what it's going to look like when it comes out probably. It's going to be tweaked a little bit, and you'll take feedback from this version.
Yeah, we'll definitely take feedback, and the key is also we're not making, we're not saying there's going to be huge landmark changes in the UI either. I mean, obviously the things we want to have continuity with new functionality as well, so we don't want to shock our users with a whole bunch of changes as well. But what you'll see in here is there's a lot of focus on things like the developer tools, integrated developer tools, the idea of interoperability. We made a lot of news around our interoperability announcement and running an IE8 standards mode. So those are the kind of things we're focused on today.
I think I saw something about that recently.
Probably a little bit.
So what can you show us? What if I, as a power user, what's one of the first things that I'll notice about this that'll help me out?
Okay, well, let's turn up and take a look at the screen here.
Okay.
One of the first things you're going to notice is there's not a lot that you have to relearn. It's
Yeah.
changed, and that's something we kind of wanted. So while I say it's developers are end users. While they're actually working on their sites, they're going to be working on IE8 standards mode probably. But once you start going to your normal browser, I use this as my everyday browser, been using the build for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I run in what we call emulate IE7 mode right now, just so that some of the pages that are serving content and expect to get IE7, they're going to serve and they're going to render properly right now. So I'm running right now in IE7 mode, just to point out that button. And I think probably the best way, what I'd like to do is maybe show you a couple key things while they're really focused on developers to get them engaged with this. They're really end user features today too, so they're going to be taking advantage of it. And those are probably activities and web slices. All right, everyday browsing, what I'm generally doing every day is going and trying to get information. I'm seeking things, taking action on that, using online services. And IE8 is really all about a new browser for the web of online services. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to pull up Pokemon, which is kind of crazy, but I'm traveling. I've got a 6.5-year-old daughter. What's the first thing she calls me about when I get into Vegas is, Daddy, I can't get to the next level on my Pokemon. I need your help. If I wanted to learn more about Pokemon, if you see, I would normally highlight the text, go to a search, go to my live search, I'd copy and paste it in there, and then I'd go to what sites it came up with. Well, today, I don't want to have to leave my page to take advantage of online services. So if you see I've highlighted, I've got this little button that pops up here. This is starting to expose activities. I click on this, and I get some key activities that I can do. So I can, I could search with live search right from here. I can just click this and it'll pop to it. Or if I want to see more activities, I got a whole selection of activities that are available today when this releases.
Now, are these ones that you put in yourself? Can you put them in, like if I want to use whatever I want to, I just plug that in somewhere?
Sure. So when you run your first run experience in the beta, there's going to be some preloaded services you have the opportunity to take on, and some of those are live. Some that are also going to be from our partners. We've engaged with some key partners right out of the gate, so you're going to see some things from like Facebook. Excited to have some stuff from eBay and some StumbleUpon. So there's going to be both activities and when we talk about web slices available too to try out. And then we expect the community to really get involved in this and start proliferating these things because they're really easy to do. There's no client-side code.
Nice. So show us how these work here then.
Yeah, so I'm searching on Pokemon. Say I want to learn a little bit more about this. And I get your standard results. But there's a whole host of these to try to figure out what's a good site, what's not. Well, luckily, the community's been awesome. There's a lot of opportunities to use things like Dig or whatnot. But I'm looking at StumbleUpon. I can right-click this, and I have an activity that says, let's find out the tags about this site from StumbleUpon. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to get a feel, is this an active site, or are people generally liking it, or are they not? So I can decide whether I want to navigate to. This one's pretty active, so I could go to Pokemon.com. It looks like it's a pretty good site. but I happen to be a Wikipedia user too, so I know this is going to be kind of written the way I can digest it. And again, what do we do with information? We take action on it. Well, part of what happened last night when I was talking to my daughter is I'm trying to explain something. I was so frustrated because I didn't have my own game, and I think you mentioned earlier you might even have one.
You should have called me because, yeah, I could have brought mine over.
Yeah, well, I don't. It got me to thinking I really probably need to buy one.
Yeah.
So but I'm not going to necessarily go buy one in the store. I'm going to see if I can pick one up on eBay. So what normally you do is you'd have to copy and paste or go to eBay and search for it. But if you see, again, what I've done here is highlight the text Nintendo DS, let's say, and I go ahead and want to do an activity. I don't see anything here for eBay, but under more activities, I see that I can go up and do an eBay search right now and see what's available on eBay.
Nice, and it's previewing the results right there.
It's previewing right here. This is a live preview, and you can toggle through them here, or there's a lot of stuff here because I can just go directly to the site and see what this is. So then I can monitor, or I can go on and look at an auction. Well, what we wanted to do is, part of the idea of web services and online services and keeping persistent connection with both what you're most interested in and what developers are most interested in trying to get their services is what we call web slices. I can actually take right here you see this little icon pops up. I can actually click this slice and it asks me, do you want to add this web slice? I'm going to click this. Take a look up in the favorites bar when it goes up here. You'll see this just came up and glimmered. Now I've got this, it looks like a favorite link, right? But I'm going to navigate away and go to live search. Click on this, I actually can track that auction. And it's updated for me and I can see when things are happening and when things are up. So now when I'm out doing my normal browsing, I stay connected to that material. Now you could think of any host of reasons for this might actually be used for us.
All right, and so I notice on the domain name that's listed up there with the URL, it's solid and the rest of it's grayed out. What's the theory behind that?
Well, we're calling that domain highlighting. The idea here is that you want to know where you are, what's the actual domain, and this is part of the security advancements that we're making in IE8, which, we're not talking a tremendous amount about that right now in the release, but this is one that's available to look at, and the key here is to know where you are. So if you were at a site, and let's call it XYZ site, you would have to see XYZ right up here in the primary domain. If you look there, you see City Search right there. Now, if it was way down here in some super long string and it wasn't the primary domain, you'd probably have a good idea that you weren't necessarily where you wanted to be.
And so show us a little bit more about how you can search, you've got an address there.
Yeah, so one of the things to think about, everyday things that you do all the time, for instance, trying to find a place. So my wife called up, again, when we were talking last night, and says, I want to take somebody to where we got those great pastries in Seattle, and it's this place called Cafe Besalou. We both know where it is, but she's trying to describe the cross street. So I could map this, go to live maps or something, or I could do it right here and get a live preview of where this is located. You see, I just popped on that, told it I wanted to highlight that address, it pops it through. Now I can see where the cross streets are and I can give her direction. So things that I'm going to do all the time, I'm going to be able to just do right from the page without navigating. So this is the idea of what we call in-context activities, inline or online services brought into the page.
So that just saved 2 browser windows and cutting and pasting into that.
Exactly. It's the Control V. We're always going to love Control V, Control C, but right now we're trying to really shorten up the steps.
Plus, it's really nice for the power user too, because it's going to cut down the amount of time that I've spent, looking up things and opening up new windows like I'm always doing.
Yeah, the whole idea of tab proliferation. This is thing you don't always have to have that and ready access to what you want to do most often is going to be a lot easier for us.
Excellent. Well, thank you for spending some time with us today. Can't wait to start playing with this ourselves.
Thank you. Download today.